Pastor Dan from Dexter Gospel Church here with another Proverbs Practical. Thanks for watching. This proverb speaks of the tragedy of a particular source of oppression. We're in Proverbs 28:3, and it says, "A poor man that oppresses the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaves no food." There are actually two different words for poor here. The poor man that oppresses the poor. The first one, speaking of the oppressor, speaks of someone who is needy rather than simply someone who's in poverty. So this can still be someone in authority with the trappings of power, but they have some need. In their culture, and really in many cultures and for much of Earth's history, positions of power were essentially sold to the highest bidder sometimes. So this could lead to someone impoverishing themselves, taking out loans, doing whatever they had to get that position. But then once they're in that position of authority, now they need to regain and recoup what they spend. They need to repay their debts. And so they just have to milk dry the people that are under them, regardless of those people's own needs and poverty. But whether it's a needy governor or whether it's a man like the one in Jesus' parable of the debtor, the man that was forgiven much by his Lord and then went and wouldn't forgive the guy that owed him a little, when a poor person oppresses another, no good ever comes of it. Rain was generally good to them, but this talks about a sweeping rain that does no good, leaves no food. Authority structures are generally good. We need them for society to function and flourish. But a blasting rainstorm that tore up the crops did nothing but damage. And so oppression of the poor does nothing but damage. It's been observed that often the worst oppression comes from those who have been oppressed themselves. They feel justified in their savagery and depredations. Instead of just greed, it becomes a matter of revenge sometimes. Often the worst bullies are people who have been bullied themselves. The most vicious revolutionaries are often those who have been badly wronged. This doesn't make oppression by the rich or the privileged okay. The law and Proverbs both soundly proclaim that to be unjust and wrong. It just observes that sometimes the poor and needy can oppress other poor people just as badly, just as savagely as rich and well-to-do people ever would. You might think that putting someone who is poor into authority would automatically help other poor people, but that's not always the case. This is not to say that every poor person would be an oppressor if given authority. That's simply not true and not what the verse is saying. It's just to say that oppression, whatever the source, whether from the rich or from the poor, is destructive. And some sources that you might not think of immediately as being oppressive still do oppress when they have the opportunity. We should be on guard against the oppression of the poor and innocent by anyone, especially as we have access to power ourselves. And we should never use our access to power to oppress others, even if we feel that we've been wronged or have needs. I hope this video is a blessing to you. If it is, give it a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more insight from Scripture. Until next time, I hope you stay well and strive for true justice.